Hi, I'm Bill with Lucky Fish Media, and today we're going to do another website review of a personal injury law firm website. And what I like to do is go over, talk about things I like, talk about some of the stuff I think they might want to look at or could change. And I'm not tearing anybody down. I don't make negative comments. I wasn't part of the design process, and I know that can be challenging depending on the situation or what was already pre-built there or something like that. So my goal is to just point out some of the things that I think could be better from my 15, 20 years experience of working with law firms, attorneys, and hopefully other attorneys can look at some of these suggestions that I have and say like, oh yeah, my site does that. Maybe we should look at something a little differently and make adjustments. So that's my goal here. So let's get started. So did a search for personal injury attorney in Lansing area, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but Bahrie law, I think is how you say it. And the first thing I always notice, just from my SEO background, is the first thing I always do is check the page title in the tab. So I see it says Lansing Personal Injury, Social Security, Disability, and Workers' Comp Attorney. So they have a lot of things working there. Personally, I always like to see a location in there, either if it's your main areas, Lansing, Detroit, Southfield, something like that. That's doing a lot of heavy lifting because, well, I guess they have Lansing in there, but the personal injury, Social Security, Disability, and Workers' Comp is a lot. So you're asking Google to do a lot of heavy lifting as far as like letting them know what your page is about, and that carries a lot of weight. The page titles do, and so they have a lot in there, which is just totally fine. But I always check that out first. So they do a good job. I misspoke. So they do have Lansing in there, which is good. And I might write that a little differently, but just to kind of break it up a little bit, like with a bar or a dash or something, because it's hard to read. But as long as Google gets it, that's the most important thing. So as far as like scheduling consultation, they have the number in the top right. That's pretty standard. I wouldn't mind seeing that a little bit bigger. Quick note, I am looking at this on a desktop. It's hard to do these recordings on a mobile, but I wouldn't mind seeing that a little bit bigger and stand out a little bit more. Main menu looks really good, very clear. So coming down here, this area, I like how they tell you exactly what they're about and what they practice right away. I do like that. I would say it's a little hard to read. I don't like the all caps writing, and I feel like when you have an image of capital behind you, especially when it's just got a lot going on, having just a lighter box with a gradient or something to make that text pop out a little bit, where you could maybe see the capital behind it, has some transparency, but it's just easier to read. But you've got like personal injury, social security, disability, workers' compensation. You have all that in large cap, and it's kind of like in your face, hard to read. And then under here, the writing is very small, and there's no bulk to it, so that it kind of just blends all together, and can't read that. And then this, I know this kind of matches this call to action button kind of matches their site. Again, it gets lost in the capital because it's light brown over light brown. Like I wouldn't mind seeing that be like a green or something that pops out of the page a little bit, because it is a call to action. You want people to click on that button. And honestly, when I looked at this the first time, I didn't even notice it. And then when I was on the page for about 10 seconds, then a chat box comes up and pops on this. And then as you're looking through the site, the chat box is constantly coming up, which I know they want to feel connected to the user, but at that point it just becomes annoying, and I would leave the site. So making sure that chat box comes up and then maybe even pops down to the corner and says like, I'm here if you need me, but I'm not going to continue to pop up in your face, because especially on like a mobile and you're trying to close that thing, it can get real annoying. I do like how they have these awards and AVO and stuff like that. It is pretty small, and most people outside of the attorney realm don't really know what AVO is and stuff. And I know attorneys love that stuff, but like you can't even click on these to go to their reviews. So to me, it just looks like they've made themselves awards to look good, and I'm sure these are actual legit awards. But I would like to be able to click on them and go visit AVO, go visit Martindale, check out these actual articles. And I would like to see these a little bit bigger. Probably what happened is they sent them, and the developer just kind of jammed them in there. But Then under here you've got your car accident, work injury, disability, so the same thing. They've got Lansing and Metro Detroit, so they're asking the SEO to do a whole lot here. I don't know how their rankings are working, but I would say in Metro Detroit's probably harder than Lansing. Lansing's a much smaller market, so they're probably doing okay there. But here on the desktop, you see this black box, but when I make it smaller, the black box actually goes behind this. So I think because when they developed it, they were like, well, that's the max size anybody would view it at. So my screen's a little bit bigger, so that's why the box just gets pushed over. So that's just something that probably nobody tested for that. So on a bigger desktop, it looks kind of weird, and you're wondering why that's a black box there, but it does kind of like go like this, like coincide over that. So the one thing I noticed too with the language, there's absolutely zero links. Like there's no links to any other page on the site, which from an SEO standpoint is a big no-no. Like you definitely want some links going to other pages, because as Google comes and looks over your site and spiders it out, it will come to the homepage and it'll say, like, it'll look for divorce or personal injury or whatever it happens to be, and then it'll go to that page. And so when you don't have any links, you're not giving it anywhere to go. And so the other thing too is that none of the text there's nothing bolded, there's nothing highlighted. It is broken up, which is good for most things, but it just kind of all blends together. It's hard to read because people are looking at the bigger words and scrolling. This large firm resources boutique firm service, I think I get what they're saying here. I kind of do the same thing. Like, I offer a lot of services to law firms, even though I'm in the smaller scale of things. I can do all the same stuff they do, but just on a smaller scale. So this, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe some focusing more on the SEO part of the things than that. That's more of just a general statement that I would maybe move up, like somewhere up here. But anyways, and scrolling down, they have their settlements and verdicts, which are great to have, but I would really love to see some reviews in here. And I know they have a tab up here with some reviews, but I'd like to see some Google reviews in here over the settlements, or at least underneath them somewhere in here, because people are looking for validation right away, and Google's the best way to do that, because people, even though there are fake reviews all the time, and I see them, it's a good way because Google makes sure that they try to make sure there's a real person behind those reviews. So it does go a long way. And again, this text, it's just so hard. It's hard to read. It's kind of small, but it's also, there's just no bulk to it. And then it's over this background marble, and it just makes it really hard to read. So I wouldn't mind seeing this again, like the marble or something a little bit less. Gradient or transparent in the background, so you can actually read the writing a little bit better. And again, no links there. Just this view all button here, which again should be a little bit bigger. It's a call to action. I would like to see that a little bit larger. So get some reviews in here, make this button a little bit larger. How we can help you, I like this section, and I like how when you hover over things, this is great. Again, just I wouldn't mind seeing like the hover on by default and then have it change to color or something like that. It's not bad, it's just a little bit, I think it could just pop a little bit more. It is covering a lot of stuff here. They have a large practice area, many practice areas, so they're trying to cover a lot of ground. I absolutely get that, but I wouldn't mind like pictures instead of the icons and the words. I've always been more of a picture guy because that draws people in, and so it just doesn't really do it for me. It looks really good though. I like the background. It is a lot easier to read than most of the stuff, but this section could pop a little bit more. I like this section here. It's easier to read, and it definitely talks about their experience. Another spot where you could put in a review underneath this, break it up a little bit. And the attorney profiles are good. I like these, and the profile pages are done really well. So I like that. And then under here, they actually do have a couple links for a phone call and a form. But again, they need links throughout the site going to the different pages. You want people to move around the site easily. And honestly, people tend not to use these menus a lot. They focus on this and the links that carry them through the site. So going the extra mile, like that's, you could use a little bit more SEO stuff there. Again, if you view your website as real estate and you're thinking, okay, when you design a site, you've got to design it for Google, and you have to design it for the user. So it's a delicate dance to make sure that the users don't feel it's too technical and too SEO derivative, like you're just repeating the same words over and over again, but at the same time having something for Google and the user to latch on to. So it's always a delicate dance. And then the contact form at the bottom, I like this. There's not too much there for people. Again, more testimonials on this page would be huge. I love this map. Actually, and they have the links to their offices. Looks like they're on the page. I wouldn't mind seeing go to. I'm sure those pages have this. Go to their Google Business Profile page so they could actually look at that. I'm sure that's what this goes to as well. The disclaimer, site map, privacy policy, all that information here. Again, these call to actions, I know they match the site, but I would just like to see them stand out a little bit better, just so people can see them. So this is on the home page. Overall, obviously, they're a very established firm. It's a nice site, but those are some of the things that from an outside perspective, I would kind of trust if they could look at that and say, maybe we should make that a little bit better. Maybe they love it. I don't know, but this is just kind of my way of showing, from my experience, how I view websites, and it's kind of like how a mechanic views cars and the engine. They just view it differently than you or I would. Looking at the main menu, they did a nice job of laying this all out, which I love. It's very good to see everything, and they have a lot of content and a lot of pages. Their reviews page, you can see this here. Again, I would love to see some links back to your Google profile, and Google loves that too because they put a lot of weight in those Google profiles, and they want to see a link to your site and vice versa. And the way the AI is now, so many people are like, oh, they just kind of wrote these reviews, or they had the AI write a review. So that's always hard, but if you have these along with your Google reviews, I think that goes a long way. The resources page is what you'd expect, links to medical providers. So these are just ways to get links out to other places. I don't think Google carries as much weight with these as they used to, but the community resources pages are very good. I did look at car accidents earlier, and I do really like the fact they have a video here. I wouldn't mind seeing a video on the homepage because it looks like they have a few videos throughout the site, and videos carry a lot of weight if they're done well, so I'd like to see those, especially with testimonials. Then you have some videos that could really engage the visitor right away. As far as writing these, I like how it's last updated. That's always very good, and I've actually been putting that into my things as well when I'm writing. If I update content or whatnot, to make sure that not only does Google know it's been refreshed, but other people. The table of contents here is a little hard to read because everything is just smushed down and underlined. But it is nice that when you click on something, it does take you down to that section on the page. But at the same time, once you're down here, now you're like, I got to scroll all the way back up to find that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I like how they did that, but at the same time, it's like if somebody wants to read multiple parts of this, they're going to bounce around the site quite a bit. So I wouldn't mind seeing these not underlined and maybe a little bit bigger because it looks like a block of text, and it's hard for me to discern what I'm actually trying to find here. Personal injury stuff over here in the sidebar, very good. Got a lot of pages here, and then the other pages. Again, this sidebar, you got a lot of space on this page, so be a good spot to throw those Avo logos. It'd be a good spot to throw some testimonials. It's just a lot of real estate that you could use, and I know most people are mobile, but it doesn't take long to throw that stuff in the sidebar. They have a great blog. They have a lot of stuff here, which is great, and it's very focused. It's definitely Michigan. I wouldn't mind seeing it be a little bit more focused sometimes on the city or area, but that's okay. But these they do a really nice job with the blogs, and it loads fast. And you can see in the blog they have plenty of links to things. So I think they just need to kind of go through the site and do that. This is kind of a shorter blog. I wouldn't mind seeing the blog be a little bit longer. Kind of want it 1,500 words minimum to make a stand, but with Google to make a difference. But it's always good to see an active blog on a website. The only other thing I would change here is on the sidebar down here. If you scroll down, they do have their categories. I wouldn't mind seeing the categories up here because you can see like the first ones, you got a lot of SSDI stuff, Social Security, and then all of a sudden it changes to DoorDash and ADA and things of that nature. So I wouldn't mind seeing that broken up a little bit up here so you could go through the different categories if you are looking for something specific to learn more about a topic. Overall, though, they've done a nice job of laying it all out, and a lot of these pages have some links, and they tend to use this table of contents. So it's obviously something that they built into the theme of the site. They have all these links, which are better than on the homepage. Like I'm not sure why the homepage kind of got left off the link thing, the link train, but we need to add those in. And of course, they have the trail here to let you know where you're at on the site, which is always helpful, and the headline up here with a nice background. So, again, not tearing anybody down or looking like that, just trying to see like third-party perspective. This is what I may change, and obviously, if somebody looked at my website, they would definitely be like, oh, why is he doing that or not doing this? And sometimes it just, you haven't looked at it that way. Sometimes it's you're so busy you don't have time to make the updates or changes. But overall, this is a very nice site. There's just a few things I would change with the text. Mainly a lot of changes on the homepage. The inner pages, I think, do a good job. But definitely re-looking at those home pages. And I like this a lot. That's really nice. I know Google says these show up better in searches than they used to when you have things broken up like that. And then you can see in the sidebar here, like there are some avos, but okay, that one has the link, but these avos, I'd really like to see links there as well. Let's see. Oh, okay, an email pops up. That's nice. Okay, yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, it's a good site. Just some changes. It looks like that phone number tracking, which is great. What phone number tracking does is, depending on where I'm coming from, if it's a Google ad or Google search or something like that, the phone number will change, and then I'll have like this unique number that I'll call, and they'll get marketing information letting them know like, oh, you had 10 calls come from the homepage and they were coming from Google versus a Google ad. So knowing where your marketing is coming from is always highly important. So well, that's my review of Bahrie Law, and hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. And if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please reach out to me at my website, luckyfishmedia.com, and hopefully you took away some notes on this and some thoughts and can apply it to your own site.